Hey, this is Pulse with Pioneer, and I'm going to give you the walkthrough how to set up and prepare Rekordbox on your Mac OS X. Now, if you've already got a copy of Rekordbox, it came with one of your products, you may want to just make sure this is the latest version. 1.2.3 is the version that's current as of the this recording. Of course, you may want to just check here to get an update. So, if you have never downloaded before and you are looking to get the free version, you will click on this link. Click here. This will take you to the registration page, which will give you a serial number. If you have bought a product, a CDJ, you already have a serial number that came with the CD in your box. So you can come straight to the download link. Scroll to the bottom, find your region, and you will save the file. Okay, so when your download is complete, if you just double click on the zip, OSX will open that up for you and it should see the Finder. So we have the Rekordbox package file that we open up. Okay, so we click continue, continue, agree, wait for it to examine the drives you have connected. Select the drive you're going to install to, click continue, and install. Once you're complete, click close. You can now close that off. Go to your Finder in your applications. You will now see Rekordbox 1.2.3 or whatever version you have installed. So now it's entering the license key. It is important when you enter your serial number, your license key, to make sure you have the dashes between the sets of characters. If you do not enter those, it will give you an error, or it will ask you every single time you start the program. So make sure to enter the hyphens as noted on your serial number. Click on submit, and you will see the program load up. Now it's time to start importing tracks. So you've got this wonderful program, and you've got your collection of music wherever it may be. We're going to go through the bridge some other time, the iTunes bridge. But right now we're just going to do a straight up importing from a device. So let's just take a mainstream radio, because I know it's a slightly smaller folder than the other one. Just drag and drop it into my collection window. So now what's going to happen is it'll analyze 137 songs from that folder. So you can see what happens on each track is it's building a waveform overview as well as reading the BPM and time and track information. Okay, so there are a couple things once you get all of your tracks analyzed that you want to go ahead and do just to sort of make sure everything's set up properly. The first thing is you go up to Rekordbox, the toolbar, go to Preferences. The General tab, you can usually set normal for track analysis mode. That means it's going to be a 4/4 beat. Dynamic just means it's analyzing the tracks with an irregular beat. You also want to enable quantize on CDJ. That's a good thing. That one's unchecked by default. You can turn this one on so that if you are playing tracks over the CDJs via the Rekordbox link, if you were to import a new track, it would not start analyzing it and potentially lead to dropouts. So it's up to you to check that one. You can hide tooltips if you want as well. If you are storing your Rekordbox files on an external drive and you don't want to have them on the internal drive, you can change that here. If you use a non-standard iTunes library file location that you want to have a second library load up instead of the default, you can locate it here. Audio, just as your audio output for the monitoring, there's the link monitor. If you actually have a DJM 2000 connected, you can set that as the output as well. Keyboard gives you a bunch of keyboard shortcuts that you can define for the player, the hotkey, memory cue, view, file, and help. Export is an important one to come in and change because a lot of guys are asking me, how come I can't see the BPM on my exports? Well, it's because it's here instead of over here. Now, you can do this on a per device basis, but if you have it preset, every device you go to export with will already have these. So I use key, hotkey bank, BPM, rating, file name. I don't use remix or original artist, bitrate, don't care. Color, yes. Label, no. Genre, year. Okay, and sort has a bunch of these as well. So let's go through. I'm going to sort by time. I want time in there. Date added, I don't really care about. Key, genre, comments, and play count. Now you can sort these in any manner you desire, and they will appear on the CDJ in that method when you load up your device. So I typically stick mine with default and then alphabetical for the rest because it's easy to find. Same thing over here, but for the time being, we'll just leave it. Color is where you can come in to define each of the colors and the label that is associated with it. So for example, if you want these to be your hot new tracks, all you have to do is label it that way. You can use these as secondary filters for any of the tracks you've got. So for example, you can see all these are labeled as top 40. They're not all top 40. Some of these are country and some of these are, hip hop. So you could actually come and label yellow tracks as hip hop if you so desire. So that way you can sort them by top 40, knowing that they're on specific albums or in collections, but then you know it's a hip hop track, so it's yellow. And that's it there. Just a couple other things to walk you through here before we sign off. The general layout and everything is fairly simple to grasp. Obviously, you've got the transport controls up here, your looping, quantize, on, off. The waveform, the time remaining, time elapsed, the BPM, artwork if you had it, and the ability to create memory points through your track. So those are the very basic functions of the player control, which you can put into simple mode, and you can even hide. So that's also available through these buttons over here. You have a volume slider on the side, so when you're doing the playback, you can actually cut the audio up and down. And of course, this is just through the speakers. It's not nothing to do with the Rekordbox link. In the lower portion of the window, down the side, you've got your collection, playlist, the hotkey bank, bridge view, tag list, info, and device. Now, of course, all these can be opened up by the little tab buttons here on the side to do a split pane. So, for example, if you want to open up your playlists, you can see I've got one loaded up here now, and it gives you the option to have two screens side by side. So you can have your collection and one of the other windows. You can actually do multiples if you got enough room on your desktop, large enough screen, high enough resolution. You can close it by just clicking on the little tab at the button up top, or by unselecting it. If you click the main portion of the button, it will actually bring up that option as full screen, whereas the little tab on the side just puts it as a split. One thing to note, the button here brings up what we call the big three. You can sort by genre, artist, album. This is very similar to how iTunes works, and it just allows you to then filter down any of these artists. Will start to narrow down your collection. Now, of course, just a couple of these have got more than one track, so that's why they're not doing a heck of a lot of good, but there you're at least able to do additional filtering when you're looking through your collection. And I'm clicking it again, we'll remove that. Now, in the collection view here, you can see we've got title, artist, album, genre, BPM, duration, and date added. Well, if you want additional columns, just right-click anywhere in the header, and you'll see this. And you've got auto size. I don't suggest clicking that because it'll just make everything really wide. You can add any of these items that are unchecked. For example, you may want to have quantize. This is your checkbox. You may want to have the comments column. I have none there. May want to have, let's see here, a rating. So now you've got your stars, and if you don't like the order it's in, you can move it around. If you want to add additional information here, it's just pick whichever you want. Is whatever your screen is wide enough for, add those ones in. To note, if you are looking to do batch edits, as a lot of people have asked about, how do I, change a whole bunch of these all at once? Well, here's a good example. These miscellaneous ones, I want to make those top 40. So what I can do is actually just sort by genre, and you can see the sort arrows there. Click the first one. I'm going to scroll down here and shift-click on the last one. And then I open up the info pane. Okay, so now the genre, I can actually go and change this to top 40. And there it is. So now all of those tracks are also labeled top 40 as the genre. So just selecting a whole bunch of them and opening up the info pane will allow you to do that. So if you want to do that for a batch edit for even color or any of that information, this will edit the ID3 tags by going in here. So you could even add artwork to an album for a whole bunch of tracks all at once by doing that mass selection. So it also provides you information about where the track is located, details here in the summary. Hit us up in the forums if you have any questions. Once again, I'm Pulse, and hope you enjoyed the video.